everybody. Good morning, and how are you doing? So, got a question for you. Have you surrendered to who you are? Yes, deep down in your core? Or are you still telling yourself the story of who you think you are? My name is Karen. I help ambitious, heart-driven entrepreneurs to get more yeses in their business. So, that question, it's an interesting one. It's what I think about not infrequently, because we tell ourselves, I'm just rolling up my sleeves, because we tell ourselves a story of who we think we are. I'm just looking to see if I could get comments today. If Facebook will like me enough to give me comments. So, yeah, so we tell ourselves the story of who we think we are. My story is perfectly candid. I'm shy, I'm quiet, I never tell people what I think. That's the story I tell myself. Now, you may have a different experience of me, but that's the story I tell myself, in part because that's actually who I used to be. As a kid, I can remember myself being really shy, really quiet, going behind mommy's leg when I saw a stranger. I remember that. Interestingly enough, that's not the impression people have of me. I mean, it's actually quite interesting. About a year or so ago, as part of, I guess, a training, for lack of a better word, I was doing this exercise. And the exercise was to see what my strengths are, because very often we don't see our strengths. In point of fact, we're usually the last people to see our strengths. And if, let me know how this is landing for you. If you're here live, if you're here on replay, have you noticed that too? That in point of fact, you're the last person who figures out what your strengths are. You can see your weaknesses really clearly, but your strengths, not so much. And very often, it takes somebody else to point them out. I was told to speak to the people who are closest to me and ask them a series of questions, which I did. And what came back was really kind of shocking, and shocking in a good way. Basically, I felt red in the face, embarrassed by all the nice, all the good. I'm caring, I'm kind, I'm this, I'm that. And honestly, I would never think of myself smart, creative. I would never quite think of myself in those terms. And I'm not being falsely humble or falsely modest or anything like that. I just would never think of myself that way. And it took some doing, conscious doing, for me to start seeing myself the way others apparently see me. I was talking to an old friend of mine. I've known this guy since I've been a teenager. And I don't know how we got into this conversation, but I said to him, oh, yeah, when we were kids, I was so shy. I was so quiet. And he looked at me like I had three heads. Are you kidding me? He said, you were outgoing, you were friendly, you were funny, and I'm like, no, that's not how I remember myself. The story in my head was that I was shy. I was a good student, studious. I was really studious, serious. I'm kind of a nerd. That's the story I have of myself. So what story do you have of yourself? And what are you holding on to that might be keeping you from your greatness? There's a couple of people in my life, and I hear them talking, and it hurts me when I hear this. And they'll say to the room, "This is who I am, and I can't change." And what they're basically referring to is something that they perceive of themselves as negative. They're anxious, they're angry, they're upset. And this is kind of their go-to. This is who I am. I can't change. You know, for family politics reasons, and for friends politics reasons, these are friends and family. For friends and family politics reasons, because I don't want to hurt somebody, and I'm not a know-it-all. Far from it. And I don't enjoy the perception of that I'm showing somebody up. That's not my purpose, and that's not my goal. So I kind of keep myself quiet and interject where it's appropriate, but it's kind of sort of not my place to dispel somebody of their myth about themselves. But it is sad. I'll use that word, sad, to hear somebody say, this is who I am. I can never change. Ever, never, never. Where I know that that's not true, because I have. At least I have changed my perception of myself. So I ask you again, are you surrendering to who you are at your core? What are your core values? I've told you what mine are: honesty, integrity, and humor. And once I embrace them, once I surrender to them, surrender is such a weird connotation around it, right? Because we surrender, we give up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're giving up to anything. This is not a passive thing. When we surrender to who we are, we step into who we are. We step into our intelligence. We step into our wisdom. And once we're able to step into our intelligence and our wisdom and our confidence and our authority, our businesses move forward. Our lives take on a whole different shape. We're able to do things that we never thought we'd do. I never thought that I would be doing Facebook Lives every day. Me? Quiet, shy, little me? Afraid to open my mouth? Me? Me? On a Facebook Live every day? That was not how I saw myself. But at some point I realized that if I was going to have a business, and if I was going to have a business online, I had to start showing up for that business. And one of the ways to show up for the business is to come out here. And yes, I was scared. And yes, I still get nervous. Yes. Yes, I do. And I can't see comments. I wish I could, but no, I can't. So if you're dropping a comment, please feel free to drop a comment. I'll check right after and respond back. But please do leave a comment. Once I was able to embrace my core values, once I was able to embrace the fact that being in integrity with myself is so important to me, because remember, integrity is one of my core values, then the decision became really pretty easy to be out there more. So what are your core values? And you may never have thought of it before. I speak to a lot of people during the course of a day, and a lot of people just have never thought of it. So one of the things that I would recommend, if it doesn't come like quickly to you, and you're sitting there going, I don't know, I never thought of it. And if this is something that's at least a little curious to you, if you're a little curious about, gee, what could my core values be? Karen keeps talking about it. What could they be? Google core values. See what core values mean, what they actually mean. Go through the list. There's several lists out there. I know because I Googled them. And see what words resonate with you at a deep level. And chances are likely those are your core values. And then live with that for a little while. See if it makes sense for you. See if it resonates with you. See if it lights you up. It's a good indicator, this whole business of lighting you up. If something lights you up, chances are good. That's it. If it doesn't light you up, keep searching. Lighting you up, that feeling of excitement, that feeling of, yeah, there's a yummy feeling to it that I can't explain otherwise. There's just a rightness to it. It's a rightness, not even yummy. Yummy's different. There's a rightness to it that makes sense. So when I said to myself, yeah, honesty is a core value, I'm like, yeah, no kidding. And it always has been. And when I look back at my years ago, yeah, honesty is 100%. Humor is also. I like to make people laugh. I like to make myself laugh too, by the way. Life gets too serious. I like to lighten things up. That's a core value of mine. So, and none of my core values takes into account shyness. And there's nothing wrong with being shy. I mean, I can still be shy under certain circumstances, that's true. But none of it encompasses anxiety or things people tell themselves, this is the way I am and there's nothing I can do about it. Mm-hmm. Have you tried? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about that this might not be bringing you joy? Being upset all the time, being anxious all the time, being angry all the time, being hurt all the time, thinking of yourself poorly all the time. Maybe this is not bringing you the kind of joy you want. You have the right to feel joyful. You do. I've spoken a lot about it. You have the right to be joyful. So maybe we want to think about, gee, is there a different way that I can be, that I can think of myself, a different story I could tell myself that might be a little more joyful? And once I'm living it, watch the magic unfold in your life. Watch the magic unfold. So I think that's all I wanted to share today. There'll be some cool changes coming as we go along. There are already some changes going on. Yeah, keep your eyes and ears open. If you've gotten value from this, if this resonated with you, feel free to share it. If you're not on my mailing list, hop on my mailing list, Karen@KarenBromberg.com. Also, check out my profile. You will see on the left side, it's a link. And there's like a link tree. Feel free to take whatever you like. Some of it has a little bit of a charge, not a lot. Some of it doesn't. A lot of it will bring you onto my mailing list as well. Some of it not, some of it yeah. Depends on what you choose. But check it out. It's there for you. So go ahead and check it out. See what's there. There's some very cool stuff there. So you have a fantabulous rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. Bye.